Saana Isojunno. I'm a senior research fellow at the Center for Research into Ecological and Environmental Modelling, CREAM at the University of St Andrews, but I also work at the Sea Mammal Research Unit SMR at the Scottish Oceans Institute. I work a lot on different marine renewable projects, especially offshore wind, so looking at the impacts of underwater noise, especially on marine mammals. But also now, in the past year, I've also learned more about seabirds and how offshore wind might be affecting seabirds. This paper was part of the 3S project, which stands for Sea Mammals, Sonar and Safety project. We conduct controlled exposure experiments on tagged animals in the wild. So we go and put a suction cup tag on, say, sperm whales. We leave them be for 4 hours, and then we expose them to controlled levels of sonar. And this is so that we can understand the kind of safe levels of received levels on animals, which can then inform mitigation strategies for different navies around the world, so US, France, the Netherlands, and so on. So for this paper, we were particularly interested in whales that keep going foraging throughout the sonar exposures. So they sometimes stop foraging, move away, so there is quite a clear response, but other times the animals just seem to be going. So they echolocate, they do these buzzing sounds that indicate that they are still trying to capture prey. But there is this sonar going on in the background, so we were interested whether they are still successful in capturing prey or whether their echolocation might be masked by the sonar. So the data loggers that we use are sound and movement tags, and so we get movement behavior, so dive depth, but also like the 3D orientation, pitching, heading, fluking behavior. Concurrently, the recorders are also recording sound. So we get these echolocation sounds detected. And for the masking question, we also wanted to have some indicators of how loud the ambient noise environment is, because not only is there sonar, but there's also natural variation in the background levels. One big contributor to this is sea state, and so we collect as part of our visual surveys of how big a sea state there is. We used those visual recordings as well as the animal attached data logger recordings together to try to understand if the animals are behaving differently in this different ambient noise and sonar conditions. So we discovered it's challenging. Basically, auditory masking is really challenging to detect in nature because there are all these different variables. So for example, if you are facing a sound source, you'll be impacted by it much more than if you are facing away. Thankfully, we have data for that. So as the animal is facing the sea surface, we expect it to be more affected by sea surface noise than facing away. Similarly, facing towards sonar, we expect a greater received level than facing away. So we were looking for these indicators. Is the animal turning away from the sonar and keeping going? We didn't find very strong indications of this. The small patterns that we did find was a reduced buzzing basically at shallow waters facing towards sea surface, kind of indicating that maybe they are either the prey isn't there or they don't attempt to capture prey when it's very noisy. In a way, it wasn't unexpected that we didn't find strong indications of masking. We did find the animals ceased foraging, but that was something we knew from previous work already, that there were some animals that just stopped foraging and did something else. Well, we communicate these results directly to the different navies. They are specifically interested in the kind of received levels of sound at which we start seeing effects, because then when they do their exercises, they can keep at a certain maximum level, and they can also estimate every 5 years. I think they have this big cycle of when they need to estimate how many animals might be impacted behaviorally as they do their operations at different parts of the world. The 3S project is an international consortium consisting of loads of people from different countries. So the PIs of the project are Petter Kvartsheim from Norway, Frans Peter Lam from TNO in the Netherlands, and Patrick Miller from the Sea Mammal Research Unit in St Andrews. But there's many people involved, again from the different countries where the navies come from. So there's a big team, a huge team on the field, but also on this paper to get all this data analysed.